Now this is not going to be my best work, finest art, but it's again just to show you how I roll with this process. And I hope that you guys can really find this helpful, because I learned it from someone who I consider a master at digital design, and that's Dave Tevenell, who I took a class with him, and he showed me a lot of how he does his digital design. So a lot of that stuff is translated into my methods, but some of the stuff that I learned from other artists or just from experimenting. So just keep playing with it and see what you can find. Alright, so now that I got my, so you want to get another, won't get that bad in there. Kind of a Batman bat. All right. So anyway, now that I have these quick generic lines, just to kind of show you, I actually go back to my layers. I'll take out the sketch layer, and then you can see how crazy that kind of looks without the sketch lines in there. But I want to put those pumpkin. There we go. Those in there. Just the pumpkin texture. All right. Oop. Too crazy. All right, good enough. So I do like to add a little bit of detail lines to kind of give it, it's just my own thing. And yes, I know that these are completely obtuse. But we're just trying to show the method. Now that we got these lines in here, let's start the coloring process. So the coloring process, I just basically take a whole other layer, but I want to make sure that and if you notice I'm kind of messy with layers, I'll just be adding layers like crazy because I can. But I'll take my line layer to the top. I'll get rid of this because I don't need that sketch anymore. Clean up my workspace, and then I'll start to drag and drop some of this. Oh, actually, I won't. I'm sorry. I won't drag and drop. First thing I'm going to do is go back to my technical pen. I'm going to size it up a little bit, and I'm going to start tracing in some of these shapes that I actually want to drag and drop it into. And then now, as you can tell, it completely fills in that whole layer if you make a whole outline around the image or whatever you're doing, and then you can just drag and drop the color. This way you're not spending hours trying to create or color this piece like you'll see tons of little spots missing, and it's just, you can zoom in and see all the imperfections. So this way it takes care of all that. All right, so again, this is going to be really quick. Boom. All right, so now we're going to take same thing, just a different color, different layer. I'm going to start with my orange. And you're going to want to move the color selector over because sometimes it'll just stay on one setting, one color. Okay, you notice how I'm just kind of quickly doing this. Right. And I'm not afraid to go right through it, so because I just want it to be colored, and boom, see that? So now, and it does matter where you put your layers, because if your orange layer, let's say, is over top, you notice that the black layer disappears. So you definitely want to pay attention to your layers. I've had art projects where I started this whole thing and then mixed the layers up and it completely changed the image, and I couldn't figure out how I got it back without double tapping 100,000 times. So be careful. All right, now do another layer. Let's start with, let's do purple. All right, and I'm gonna do this really quick so I don't waste any more of your time. Drag and drop. Oop. You want to make sure your lines are connected, because if they're not connected, then you're going to leave an open gap. When you try to fill it, it's going to fill the whole page. Right. Another layer here. So I'm going to go with, let's go with the pinks. I know it's not very fall colory, but just for the sake of getting this done and showing you what it could look like. Now, there we go. Now, if you notice, one more. Sorry, I'm over here talking to myself. If you notice that I saved the hat for the last, because I wanted to see what the other colors are going to look like. Obviously, this is going to be black, or off black, but I wanted to kind of get the other colors in there first, kind of see what it's looking like, and then what I actually do is I'll go and throw a background in there too, and that really helps me decide what kind of colors are working for me, what kind of colors I need to stay away from. And what I mean by background, let me color this bat in real quick. I'm gonna go back to the black layer so that they're all in the same. I'll draw another bat in there eventually, but alright, now that that's done, see, now you can see your layers. You have them all color coordinated. You can clean the ones up that you need to clean up, and we're gonna add one more. Stick with the greens. Actually, let's make these like brown. And I know this is like so completely out of the color spectrum for complementary colors, but let me show you what I'm doing here. Hopefully it makes sense. Okay. So now that this whole picture is basically colored with the base colors, I take the base colors and I'll start to shade them, so that this way I have some depth, some contrast. Let's add a little bit more purple here. All right. So now that we have the base colors done, what I do is sometimes I'll take my base color and I'll duplicate it by sliding it over. As you can see, I slide that over, and then you'll see the word duplicate, lock, and delete. I'll just hit duplicate and it'll make a second one. From there, I'll take it again, and you see, you just tap it one time and you'll see this another drop down menu come over here. I click the alpha lock layer, which locks that layer in place. This way no matter what I do to the whole entire layer, the only thing that's actually going to get touched is what's alpha locked. Let me show you what I mean.